1, go.
So today we are going to be making hair scrunchies out of a scrap piece of fabric. All you need is your scrap. This is an old fat quarter that I've used part of it for something, and I don't remember what it was I used for, but we're going to use that's old fat quarter, and we're going to need a piece of elastic about, this is 8 3/4, so about 9 inches long, a piece of elastic. After we tie it in the end, once it's inside the fabric, it'll be about this big, you know, the size of a hair tie. So what we do is we have cut a piece of scrap fabric, 4 inches, about 4 inches by about 18 inches. Now it can be a little bigger, a little smaller, a little fatter, a little thinner. It doesn't really matter, but I just find this size to be ideal for me. These example ones were 18 inches by 4 inches. Alright, so once we cut our piece, which I did ahead of time.
I put my finger in front of the thing. Okay.
Once you cut your piece of fabric, you're going to take it and fold it over like this. You can pin it if you want to. I don't really pin it since it's such a simple seam, but you're going to sew along this edge here, but you're going to leave the first 2 inches or 2.5 inches without sewing them, and the last 2.5 inches without sewing them. So you're just going to sew this middle bit here in the middle. Alright, so you see when we start to stitch, I leave a long piece, 2.5 inches, without being sewn, and then I'm going to put my needle down. Now, I like to back stitch in this bit because when I turn it right side out, the stitches don't pop out, and because I hate it when that happens and come unsewn. So I just back stitch a little bit and then sew all the way down. Alright, and make sure you sew only until about here, when you have about 2.5 inches left. What I like to do is I like to sew until, this might be a little less than 2.5 inches. I like to sew till about here, when this gets to this spot here, and then I'll go ahead and back stitch, and then then I'm done with this bit. And then, alright, so now I like to use a dowel rod. I'm sure you can use anything. But so now we have to right side this out. I like to put the dowel, I don't know why, for some reason it seems to work better if you put it on the seam side and then just right side it out. Boom, right side it out. So now we've got the pineapples. Oh, and look, they almost match up. Well, at least part of it. Alright, so here we go. We have this long tube of pineapple fabric. Alright, now what we do is we get our piece of elastic, which you are sitting on. Here it is. Alright, get the piece of elastic, and I like to put it in a safety pin. And then I like to put the safety pin inside a pin like this, so that it gives me a long handle. And then I run it through this, like this. Alright, and so it doesn't pop out the other end. I always put it in my teeth because it's easier. Take the pin out. Take the safety pin out. Alright, take it out of my teeth, which is probably not good for my teeth, but it makes it easier not to fall. Then you've got the pieces here. Then you make it in a little knot like this. Get both. Here we go. And there we go. That is an ugly knot, but it works. Make sure you pull it tight so that when the, later on when you're using the elastic, it won't come undone. All right, there you go. And then clip that. Now I like to roll this around to the back just so I don't have a knot when I'm sewing up the closure. It just makes it a little easier. All right, so now we basically have a scrunchie already. What you do next is we match these, the 2 outside seams, the 4-inch sides, we match those, and we're going to sew along the top and the bottom of each of the 4-inch seams. See, we're going to sew like this. We're going to match this up. Alright, so let's go ahead and sew this. Again, backstitch in the beginning so that it doesn't come out. Alright, and then just as you sew, make sure you just match them up as good as you can. Remember, this is going to be a scrunchie, so this is going to have wrinkles and all that stuff, so it doesn't matter if it's not perfect because, yeah, just don't stress over it. But just try and keep the edges as matched up as you can. And again, backstitch at the end. Alright, so we've sewn the ends together, and we just have to right side it out now. It'll just kind of, you know, pop it in, and then we'll have this opening like this. What I like to do is I like to fold both of the sides in and match up the seams. Give it about I don't know, half an inch or so. And then I like to match those two edge seams and just put a pin there. And then see, it kind of just folds itself, but I still like to pin this one just to be on the safe side. And then here's another one. Just make sure you get all those strings and whatnot. And see, it just kind of, you know, it just kind of closes itself up right there. All right, so now what we're going to do, this is our seam right here. We're going to just sew this bit right here. Okay. All right, and I just sew really, you can see I just really sew close to the edge here just because, you know, just to try and keep it more invisible. It's not going to be super invisible, but, you know, when it's in your hair, you're not really going to look at it. All right, now let's go ahead and get this piece. All right, and now let's backstitch. All right, and now I am done sewing this bit. Now let me cut off the strings and all right, and then, all right, and here we have pretty much a finished scrunchie, but I think it looks funny like this. It's like flat up here and it's rounded down here. So what I like to do after I'm finished sewing, well, first I make sure that all the seams are closed and looking good. And then I like to twist it so that seam is on the inside. See, I hide the seam on the inside like that. See, and then no one's ever going to see it. See, boom. And there you have it, a pineapple scrunchie.